Lily.
So, what is your opinion and view on United Nations Agenda 2030 and the World Economic Forum?
Yeah, so bad is the answer. The UN 2030 World Economic Forum, I mean, I think there has been, and I don't mean to boast about myself, I just say this today because it's actually really funny. I haven't had a chance to view social media or whatever in the last 24 hours, but I'm kind of honored. I didn't think I was going to get this kind of reception this early in the race, where a lot of people have been saying that, you know what, I've done business in China, and you know what, I've been invited to speak at the World Economic Forum, as President Trump has, most prominent people have, and that somehow that was going to be a problem for my candidacy in this. Look at what people actually have done. There is not a person, this will be the most boastful thing I say tonight, but I just want to be clear about it. There is not a person in America who has both pointed out and actually done something to take on the global hegemony of the World Economic Forum than I have over the last 3 years. And as U.S. President, I do not intend to stop. Okay? Thank you. This is effectively a reversion to Old World Europe. Okay? Old World Europe was predicated on the model of a small group of leaders getting together in the back of palace walls to decide what was right for the rest of society at large. You know what? In fairness to them, that's how most political questions were settled for most of human history. So they got that going for them. We're the weirdos over here. But we weirdos decided that we want to do things differently. That we believe that for better or worse, the citizens of nations, this nation, decide for themselves how we govern and how we decide whether or how to tackle climate change, whether or how to tackle fill in the blank, systemic racism, misogyny, or whatever the cultural travail of the day may be. We the people decide that through the front door, not delegating that to some authority from the mountaintops of Davos. And what we see today is, I think, the defining political struggle of our time. It is not Democrats versus Republicans. It is not black versus white. It is not gay versus straight. It is the Great Reset versus the Great Uprising. Okay, the Great Reset has a worldview. The worldview is to dissolve boundaries between the public and private sector, dissolve boundaries between nations so that leaders of these nations with centrally banked digital currencies can work together to dictate how we solve the common global good. In response to that vision, the Great Reset, we have what I call the Great Uprising, which says hell no to that vision. Okay? If I had to pick, I'm part of the Great Uprising and not the Great Reset. But I think that where this ends is that the Great Uprising tears it all down, we're done with the existing institutions, and we just build anew. And I want you to hear from me, if I had to pick, that's the side I'm on. But I think there's a better way still left, okay? We can still sterilize the castle, okay? We can still separate those boundaries between nations, between the public sector and the private sector, restore every institution and what it was supposed to stand for, be it a company, be it a university, be it the government. I still think we have a window to do that and to get it right. And so if we don't get it right, there's going to be a point in time where the whole thing is we just start with a blank slate and, you know, go for the Phoenix model, rising Phoenix out of the whole thing. But we're not there yet. And I think that my reason for running for president is that I believe I can be the person for you that actually restores those institutions back to what they were supposed to be, starting with the federal government and rejecting the demands of the three-letter acronymized global government from the WHO to the UN to the mountaintops of Davos or the WEF. I say absolutely not to that vision, and I will not be apologetic for it as President of the United States. Thank you.
So, Vivek, I think you just inadvertently picked the campaign theme song there and all of that, mentioning the uprising in Phoenix, and it's actually Muse, but anyway.
Oh, Muse? No,
Muse,
not bad.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll play that at the next event.
You got to pick a campaign theme song. That's not a bad one to go with. All right, next question. Right here in the front.
Croc TV.